same science subjects for my A-levels. We were 2 girls in the class. My degree was a maths degree. We were 2 girls in the class. I work in the technology department. My own team, I think we're 2 girls in that whole section, permanent staff. But the question is why? Every opportunity that was open to me and my fellow girl at every stage was open to every other woman, every other girl in the school. So why didn't they choose it? I can't answer that question because I didn't choose not to do the sciences. But I do not believe there was any barrier. Though, if I remember, I do remember someone asking me, what are you doing maths for? Do you want to be a math professor? Now, even if I was a man, chances are the same thing may have been said. Did they say that to me because I was a woman? I don't think so. But I know people couldn't understand, why did you choose that course? I chose it because I actually didn't know what course to choose. And I went to the deputy, who was my maths teacher at the time. I asked him what to do. He says, pick maths if you don't know what to do. And I'm like, I didn't know when this came out. I said to him, I'm becoming a teacher. And I'm talking to a teacher, right? And he says, no, most people that do maths don't become teachers. And he brought out some statistics. And he showed me how most go in the industry to the point that there are no maths teachers in the school. And then I thought, okay, this guy's talking sense. And that's how I did a maths degree. But women, and maybe it's us encouraging our children, need to encourage them to know and understand that once you have the flair for it, you can do it. And what you find is when you try it, you can. Most of the women who do go into the IT industry end up being successful. And I'll give MTN as an example. Right now, in my division, which is a technical division, we're 3 female general managers out of 4. The CIO in MTN initially, she was a woman. She went on and became the group CTIO, that's the group head in charge of both network and IT for multiple years. She was a powerful woman that everyone respected. So even though we're in a man's world, actually in MTN also the CTO was a woman for a very long period, Linda Sintwafo. So we can be successful if only we tried. Excellent. So encourage all the ladies you know who have the flair to be technically strong to proceed with their career.
Thank you.
In my experience, I find that when we start work and we take entry-level staff, we assign them based on their background. So you get quite a number of young ladies in technology. Over the years, I find that once she gets married and maybe she has the first and the second child, then she begins to think, I can't do this work anymore. I need to take a break. I need to go and sit at home. I need to do something that is not tasking. And I think that a lot of times that we count ourselves out. I told some ladies that used to work with me that you can't, having a child is a temporary phase. You have a little child right now, he or she needs a lot of attention. But as the child grows older, you find out that you have so much more time. So don't take that temporary 9 months, 12 months, 18 months and take a whole career decision on what you can or you can't do. I see young ladies, they do some things that I think are fantastic. I think that sometimes we also don't project ourselves enough. I think that I see a young man, he will do something very little, and when we're looking at promotions and he speaks about what he has done, and you come back and wonder, but I knew what that was. It wasn't so fantastic. And then you see a young lady who would have done so much more, but maybe background teaches us to be modest. So we're modest, we hide it, we want people to spot us, we don't want to push ourselves forward. So I think we need to stop counting ourselves out, we need to step up, make our space known, make ourselves known, and take our opportunities.
Great, thank you very much.
a lot actually limits girls, and I would say culture and tradition. We've always believed that the tech space is actually for guys. And even the culture is not helping, the tradition is not helping, the parents are not helping. You realize that, if set of parents will give birth to their kids and they'll say, you're a boy, break that truck and fix it. You're a girl, take the door and, make outfits. So in a way, boys have been created to create, they have been nurtured to create, while girls have been nurtured to make use of what has been created, not necessarily creating. And that has to change. For instance, we work with a lot of grassroots, and you can imagine parents telling me, leave our girls, our boys are more important. Right now, yes. Since 6 years I've been working in the NGO sector, that's what we get. So most of the time we enlighten them. We have reasons why it's only girls we work with. You can imagine working with girls and boys in the same space, and girls will be like, it's because you're a boy that you know this stuff. I don't necessarily need to know it. So we're changing that, and we make sure that even female tutors are the ones teaching them. So they go, because you're a female, it shows I can actually do what you're doing right now. And they have people around them, when they encounter problems, maybe some lines of codes, they ask themselves, at times they go online, they just search, why are my lines of codes not working? And questions like that. But it's really with the culture and the tradition that we have. Even right now, people are still telling me, why am I working with girls? Why am I not doing boys coding? Why girls coding? And some are saying, is there a time where you are going to train boys? I said, well, we can organize some private lessons for you people, but to have them in the same space, it's not going to happen. And I'm just one out of 200 million people in Nigeria. Somebody else can take it up, and if you need support, we'll give you everything you need. But to change what we are doing or our core system, just because we want to see the boys survive in the so-called male-dominated space, is not going to happen.
Thank you.
Not exactly. So let me start by the person who needs a resource. You need a resource in your unit, and then you're at the point of hiring. So if they give you a couple of CVs and you see male and female, when you see a male and you interview him and he says to you, I'm about to be married, you suddenly have a greater peace hiring that male, because you feel that if he gets married, he's going to get more responsible. His chances of moving around in the job will be reduced. And then you get a female CV and she says, I'm about to be married. Your brain starts tickling. In another 9 months, she will be here. And then a year after that, she's going to have stuff to do. A baby she's going to take care of. So in your head, you're like, 2 years, she's not going to be productive. So automatically, you prefer to hire the male. So that's what happens. But I think after you break this and hire a female, or hire people because you find that they are able to do the job for which you're hiring them, you find the ladies very stable. She said something, and it's something that has re-echoed over and over again. We had a women talk at TD like 2 weeks ago, and we found out that women do not project themselves. So she's right. When females do things that males have done, they just let it lie. They don't talk about it, unlike the male colleague. So it's time to start, projecting yourself, such that even at interviews, you can even be open and say, I'm getting married, but I'm not going to have babies for another 3 years. Instead of just letting it be shrouded in mystery, or leaving it in darkness and allowing the person interviewing you to, yes. So they don't have equal opportunities.
Thank you so much.
Now that big discussion is Most times you
Chimere.
don't even know. You don't even know because people don't discuss it because it's meant to be confidential. In my career, not necessarily here in Nigeria, through my career, at some point or the other, I realized that I was earning significantly less than my colleagues. Significantly less. I was lucky that my colleagues even said something. I remember the first time, after being a graduate trainee for, I was early in my career. I can't even remember, in just a few years, I was behind by 4,000 pounds. How? We all started together on the same level. At a different stage, I'd gone on maternity leave. I came back. While I was off, there was a salary review that was done. Everyone was uplifted. I was forgotten. And when I was lucky, I found out, and I raised it. And they said, no, it's not possible. Based on the company policy, I will not be discriminated against because I'm on maternity leave. But by the time I wrote my long story, there was no, I was reassessed, and I was changed, and I was uplifted like my colleagues. So, I cannot tell you whether I'm earning the same as my peers because I've not checked. I didn't
Don't bother.
I'm sure the problem still happens. It's not a Nigerian problem, it's a global issue. I think if all of you know about the BBC case last year, that was made very visible. And the disparities were very, very clear. Has it changed? No. All I would say is as we get into leadership positions, we have to take the opportunity to do what we can to put things right.
I love you.
We have different perspectives in this discussion. First, how many ladies are in Dell here in this room? Dell ladies. Dell ladies.
Dell.
Today we have more women sales in the office than male sales. So that's the start. And you were not fired when you got married, right?
No.
And you know, sometimes I feel, and I'm talking from my daughter perspective, so don't take it, you know. Always I push them to do what they love and what they want to be and to be successful, and not to victimize themselves, okay? Because they can make a difference. For me, there is no difference between boy and girl, okay? Yes, we had, even in Jordan, people were prefer to have a boy rather than a girl. I always wished for a girl, but I wished too much, I got 3. And I love them all, and God bless them, you know? But first, we need to do what we can to show ourselves, as was mentioned before. We cannot say we are women, we are treated differently. Just try to do what you have. When I get CVs, we got a job, we go for skills, for capabilities. And most of the women I hired the first woman in EMC at that time. You know, it was in sales and she was a single. I hired many other single women, and that was not showstopper for me. It was the skill, you know, because today when you hire somebody, the male will, you don't guarantee the male will be better than female rather than when you see them at work. What I'm trying to say, please know what you want and focus on what you want. And sometimes don't listen to your community, to your minds, to your parents, do what is right and what you have passion to. Let your passion drive you, not everybody else. And if you have a passion for anything, you will reach to the highest points. Mm-hmm. And when I say passion, I mean do your job with extra values. So I always tell to my team, if we meet any expectation, we are like anybody else. But always if we go beyond and we do the extreme, that we exceed expectations, then you make a difference in your career and in you. Just to give you an example, in Dell, we don't differentiate in the salaries. We have one rank of the salary. It's the same level. If you are a girl or a boy, man, woman. I just hired a country manager, and I believe it's in our region, it's the first country manager in Dell. I'm somebody in Morocco. She's the country manager. She will start in August. Today, and nobody knew. I just called her. We are hiring a sales in Morocco, a woman sales also. So even the girls are, because nobody knows, but. And I'm hiring this girl, but not because she is a girl, because she did the best presentation between 4 people. So, ladies, don't look at yourself as male and female, as a being that want to build their career and start doing that and put that in your mind, and you will be successful and you will be reaching to the highest point, you know. So
Thank you. It's called STEM, and obviously it's a lie because technology has no gender. I believe personally that the world of technology, or the fact that computers is a tool, is useless without the intelligence of human beings. So your smartness is what makes a smartphone smart, because all the icons and all the apps, developed by people on your phone, are developed by people, not necessarily gender-related people. So the question is, what investment are we willing to do to ourselves to be able to create something that the world can use? And the second obvious one is your place is in the kitchen. And I love to cook. And because I've lived with different people, I think I can be a chef in another life. And so, because I love to cook, I love to code,
I love to cook also.
I'm just going somewhere that we're talking about the other room. You can be in any room you want to be. Yeah. And I tell the young girls we work with, because what they are dealing with is worse than what the privileged folks are actually dealing with. They're dealing with the fact that they don't even have the means. They're dealing with the fact that their parents are not even literate, and you're teaching technology and teaching coding, so the case is really, really different. So I told them, I said, you can be United Nations tomorrow, making case for people, and you can be your kitchen next tomorrow, cooking for your husband, and you can also go to wherever it is you want to go to, any room you want to be. It's about you. It's not about anybody else. People will talk. It's left to you to believe what they say, or you create what you want to believe. For instance, I practically say I created my own life. What I want to be, regardless of what you say, it doesn't really matter. Because when I was struggling and looking about to pay my school fees and gain admission to school, you were not there, so you cannot have to say now. So it's really about you. So, for instance, many of these girls, I tell them, one of the things I can give you, a form of financial or economic independence tomorrow is what you put in yourself now as a form of investment. So, anywhere you find yourself, technology will be there for you if you can learn it now. So many of them are going back, even though they're in public school, they're employable as teenagers right now, because they know what is industry relevant right now. Not necessarily I graduate from school and I have a degree that I cannot use because I was taught obsolete courses and curriculum. It's no longer the case for them. They're going into science courses, despite the fact that they're going from public school to private school to university. So let me discuss that.
And maybe I'll just use myself yet again as an example. When I had my first child, I didn't want to change my job, but I knew I needed more time at home. And I called my boss. I said, I need to work part-time. His answer to me was, you tell me what you need. I can't tell you. Start from that point. Ask. If you don't ask, you can't get. Just ask first. So I had to go away and actually think about it. I don't know how I didn't think before I asked, but never. I had to go back and think about it. But I still, so I went back thinking, okay, I wanted to work shorter days. So I still maintained 5 days a week, but shorter days. So I would have time to do breakfast in the morning for the child, and also come home early enough to do dinner. Already, it was such a stressful experience. The burden I put on myself. Somebody else in the office, another lady asked me, why did you do that? Why did you take at least 1 day a week off? Since you had the opportunity to ask, why? It must be so hard on you. And truly, it was really hard on me. Why did I reduce what I asked for? Why didn't I go for more? I felt that if I asked for too much, they would give me some job in the corner that was not important and would affect my career. But when I look back at others, and I take an example of my sister. She went for another job and she thought, the travel, I can't do this every day. She was going to ask for a day off. I said, no, do it. They may not give you the job. But I dissuaded her. She went ahead and she asked for 2 days off a week. Guess what? She got it. She got it. So, work-life balance. We need to realize that if you work well, if you do a good job, if you have integrity, if you know they trust you, as was said earlier, the period where the children are young is actually a short period in your overall lifetime, right? Don't always feel it will be used against you. Don't. At least try, ask. And what we do is we hold ourselves back. We suffer in silence. But really, did we have to?
I think I'm not in this field at all. I did study computer sciences, I did zoology and environmental science. And I want to come into this field. I know you deal with young girls. Not the young girls. I don't know where I'm going to start from. What would you advise? What's the first step? What's the first thing I'm supposed to do? What's the first initial thing to do if I want to come into this field?
I'm not sure where to start from. But I would say my journey into technology was not a thing of choice. It was that of survivor. it was actually a struggle phase of my life, or phases of my life. I remember I started at the age of 10. And it was not because life was rosy. It was actually the other way around. And I think I just finished in the second primary school or something, and my brother said, oh, go to that computer center, business center, sorry, not computer center, computer center. And then just, go and sit down there. You shouldn't stay at home. So thankfully, my brother helped with that, and I was able to learn how to use the computer basically. But a few years down the line, when I was taking admission to school, I joined NIT, and I went to another level with how to use the computer still. So the basics, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Access. Again, I was looking for admission to school, so I did not want to sit down at home. So it was not a thing of, oh, these are the choices you have, this is what you should choose and what you shouldn't choose. And from there, I went into coding, core computer programming. So what I'll tell you is that you do not necessarily need to be a coder to be in tech. Tech has many phases. I'm a data analyst. I love data. I love how data works. I can research anything. And that's just the different stages of my over 15 years of, experiencing technology in different ways. So what I'll tell you is, understand it's not too serious on YouTube. It's online. And even when some of us were learning, what the youth of me, what this generation has right now, we didn't have it. We were using books and we're using massive CPUs and monitors and all these things. That when NEPA takes like at the end of your work, so now that there's laptop, now that there's fast internet, way better than back then with modem and dongles and all that. Computer, internet is your friend. Start from there. We do the 10 to 17, age range, and we do the 18 to 25. We try not to do too much, cutting our cost according to our material kind of thing. So, but start with those places. There are many hubs and co-working spaces that offers trainings. But start with that, and of course we can talk about it. Sorry, one more thing: computer appreciation. Please, there are people. There are folks who go for training. Certain people in their companies actually develop their PowerPoints. For instance, let me go into a bit of auditing. Before I got into auditing, I used Excel. It looks cheap to a lot of people, but those things are very, very powerful. They are powerful tools. So you do not necessarily need to go into coding. Make sure you get to the point of your advanced in your basic office suits, because they can take you anywhere.
Definitely feeling like an imposter, like, this is a guy's thing, it's not really meant for me. And I can say the one thing that really kept me going is the fact that I actually enjoy what I do. So the question now is, especially when you see in the media, all you see in movies are guys in movies who are supposed to be software programmers. You know this one that looks like you, you know this one that looks like you. So how do we address this issue? Because I think this stereotype issue actually discourages a lot of young girls. So when they think of a programmer, they are thinking, oh, I don't want to be some guy who's boring, who always looks at his computer. You know, I don't want to live a boring life. You know, I don't want to be this person that doesn't look like they have any fun. How do we address this issue of stereotype? Does it come with maybe creating more movies about women in tech? Does it come with putting more women out there to represent, you know, that?
A question though, we need to make it look cool. Let's take it to Wakanda. Let's take it to Wakanda. This particular young girl, she did that. People were calling us, how can I get my girls into technology? Because of Wakanda. So we need more movies. Whatever it is that drives people, I mean, the market is wherever there's a buyer and a seller, isn't it? Whatever it is you're selling, either a service or a product, or a conception, or whatever it is that you want to sell, a mindset or a frame of mind. There's a buyer, there's a seller, then you need to make it. Now, I mean, thankfully, some of our work, most of our work is social out there. Social media has really helped us, because we started with no funds, no support, nothing, but we're always documenting everything we do. We make sure that our girls have uniforms we wear whenever they are at the center, with no serious logo, just girls clothing in front of it. Privileged people were like, I need my girls to be there. Now, they don't see them from girls from the slum. They don't see them as girls from the orphanages. They just see them as young girls using their brains to work. And they're like, I want my girls to be there. How much is it? What can I do? What can I do? So we need to be projection, as they said, project the right things. Whatever it is that you're trying to make people buy into, you need to put it out there. Media is where people are right now. So whatever it is you want to do, put it out.
I work with social media and partner to them. So every woman is a door opener. I realized that it's better to even work with a saleswoman, you know, than a sales male. Because when a saleswoman goes to an organization, I think it's the, you know, how God created man and woman thing. It just works. You know, a woman can relate to a man easily and he will give you attention than a man to a man. But okay, so we go all the way, level 1, 2, 3, and then we get to level 9 and 10. It becomes a problem. And what is the problem? Closing the deal. I mean, we can close deals, but they get some level of C levels, executive levels, some directors. You are female. No, we want your MD. You know, they want to relate at that level. So why can't I? And I think it's a norm in the society. How do we solve this issue? Thank you. Thank you very much. That is first.
But is that a woman issue or a level issue? Okay, so I'm not, okay. No, it's a level issue more than a woman issue. Right? But yes, no, I like what you said. So when we're talking about stereotypes of women, right? Sometimes, because it's like having a chip on your shoulder, right? Because you're a woman, sometimes you find yourself in situations where you're reading what you shouldn't be. The issue is not necessarily because you're a woman, it's something else. But because you've got that in your mind, you can't actually see where the real problem is. So in that case, it's really a level issue. But it doesn't matter, because if that's the way it works, you'll get to work with your seniors to bring them into how you work, such that together you work as a team and you close the deal. So, we women have to learn, as has been said earlier, don't carry everything on your head. It's not just you. It's about a team. So open your mind, open your thinking, be And that's the way it is.
Thank you very much.
Question. I just want to make a suggestion. In terms of growing girls, particularly in technology and another area, I think the main focus should be from the home. We parents, especially we mothers, cause most of the problems that we have nowadays with girls. Like one of the speakers mentioned, when you have a girl, they'll say you go to the kitchen, the guy go and wash his hands, go and do this, go and do that. The girls are limited to what we do it. My first course was something that has to do with quantity surveying. I know the first question I have, what? No, quantity surveying, but the thought is land surveying. Are you going to be measuring the forest? As a lady, and then in the class also, we're just two. We're just two there. And I thought about it. I didn't have the exposure that I have now. The understanding was so low. I was like, okay, I'm not going to get a job when I finish. I had to change my course. I went to computer science. But apart from that, ladies, when we get to the level where we can help, in your organization, do you have anything they call gender balance? Do you look at it from that angle? Do you have a way? She said that they allow her to bring her kids in. Do you have a way to at least help the women to develop themselves? Like having a place where the babies can stay close to the office to help, at least for a minimal time. Give women a break. We have a lot of things that we're doing. But if you have men, somebody mentioned that we should bring guys into this space. And it is true. Because you encounter men that treat you, oh, you are a lady, what can you do? Then unconscious balance is there. Unconscious identity is there. They just want to see, as a woman, what can you do? They don't see what is the possibility. They don't know what is here in your brain. But the first thing is they used to judge you. You're going to give birth. But they've forgotten that it's the woman that gives birth to them. So they need to be educated on that part. That's why I always suggest when you are doing this kind of thing, let the men come in. Let them come and listen to this. Let them be aware. And we ladies also, we should do a lot. We have a lot to cover. Don't hide your progress, like I said. I was listening to one woman, this has to do with the pre possession on CNN, and she said, I think she's earning about $450 million or $1 billion now annually. And she said that at first she doesn't want to be known at all. She normally says she's well-established, successful woman and everything. Then she thought of it after some months and she has went to some of the forum and said that, oh, if I'm doing this, I'm not encouraging anybody. I need women to know that I'm earning this much so they can come up the ladder too. It's not a man's world alone like they used to say. Women are breaking the barrier. And we all need to work together as a team to be able to do it. Let's start from our home. Let's start the way we bring up our kids. Let's start to expose them to things we allow our boys to get to know. And that will go a long way to help us. Thank you.
I totally agree that we need to project ourselves more as women. However, there are still factors that remind us that we are women. I've been to job interviews, I've gotten to the last stage. We are just two, myself and a guy. And after a while, I'm not hearing anything, and I'll call, so what happened? They said I didn't get the job, so I like feedback. Why didn't I get the job? Actually, I like you, I like your presentation, I know you can do the job. However, I look at you, you're still young, you still want to have children, and this job entails traveling, and I want someone that can be out everywhere, travel. I said, but I didn't complain that I can't do that. So why didn't you give me a chance to prove myself? Well, I've had that experience twice. So I left them, I walked away, I said it's their loss, because I believe that whoever hires me, I'm a plus, because I know I'm an asset. So I got another job, the MD is a female, and she gave me a chance. I got the job, and then a few months down the line I got pregnant. They thought, is this a wrong hire or something? But guess what? They never regretted hiring me, because even while I was on maternity leave, you wouldn't even notice my absence. So my question, my suggestion is that women who are in a position to do so should give other women a chance. Don't look at them that they are women like me. I know these challenges women face. Give them a chance. We have that inner strength that helps us excel. And then we should also try to mentor other women.
Former Deputy Managing Director of Habib at Chelsea. She rose to be Deputy Managing Director. She used to be responsible for about 70% of the bank's profitability. And she did it not trying to be like a man, She was a lady, she had her home, she had her children, and she had everything seemingly working together. And she told me simply that it's because she doesn't try to be everything. I think that as young ladies, we want to be the mother that wakes the child in the morning, baths the child, cooks his lunch, cooks his dinner, and we still want to be the superstar at work and everything. At some point, you need to realize you're a limited resource. You need to realize what things are most important to you, and you need to find support to do everything else. That's the way you can succeed.
You have to unplug the kitchen sink. And then for you that is on the job, do the job and become a valuable staff. That's when you have the chance to do a lot of things for yourself, so that those coming under you, those, the new generation, can also see that there is room at the top for women in technology.
Thank you.